Frank Jarvis, who is the representative from VEA, are the chair and co-chair of the Bylaws and Policy Committee. Our committee, at one time, the bylaws were part of the member liaison committee and have been taken out of the member liaison and moved back into policy. Since policies need to follow our bylaws, we believe that that's where they all need to be. Last year, our members, who are very dedicated and do a lot of work outside of the committee before we meet, reviewed all of the policies. The policies can be found online. They are looked at by the members of the committee and then also are looked at by our employees to make sure that they follow state, federal guidelines, and that's how we come up with the policies. We decide if there's any new policies that need to be made. We also looked at the bylaws, and there were no new bylaw changes for this year. But every single year we will look at them and make sure that the policies and bylaws are current and are what is needed to run our co-op in an effective and efficient manner. And anybody who is interested in doing a lot of work in writing and rewriting policies is welcome to join our committee. We meet quarterly. The policies are usually sent out 6 to 8 weeks before we meet, and so you have plenty of time to read them, review them. We probably do about 5 to 6 policies at each one of our meetings. So there is a lot of work in our committee beforehand and during the committee. So the other committee that I'm part of is I'm chair of the Charitable Foundation. Our charitable foundation works together with the community, and we help sponsor the many organizations in all of our districts. And so requests are made, reviewed by the charitable foundation. We have employees on the foundation, we have members on the foundation, and we have directors on the foundation. So they're reviewed, and then we determine whether or not they are the best use of our foundation dollars. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Okay, that moves us on to the staff report, so I will introduce CEO Mark Stout.
Now, one of the reasons we're talking about the committee structure is that's the way members can get engaged and get involved in the process. We don't really have a lot of people on those committees. The member liaison is a really valuable, good committee. We can make an agenda, we can find out what you want to talk about. I think from tonight, I know what quite a few of you want to talk about, and we were happy to do that in the member liaison meeting. The finance committee is basically one member per district, and then the charitable foundation, that committee is managing a charitable fund. The funds do not come from the budget. The funds come from donations. Most of the donations come from employees, and it also comes from the Roundup program. The Roundup program is for members who want to take their bill, and if it's odd cents, it rounds it up to the nearest dollar. That differential goes into the charitable foundation. There's a reading program that Grid Lions basically made a $10,000 donation to. That is funding a reading program for children, and we basically work with the schools on that program. So the charitable foundation is not a budget item. I want everybody to understand. It's a donation. It all comes from donations into the organization. So what I wanted to talk about or share with you is I started here January of 2020. Within 2 months, the first thing I did was we developed a strategic map, strategic plan. It's an action item, it's a map for the co-op. It starts at the bottom with our values, our culture of excellence. If we want to build an organization, we have to have teamwork. We have 135 employees. This isn't a top-down organization. It's a team. So we've got employee member safety, leadership, employee development, improve internal communication, and then the biggest, most important one, quite frankly, is operational efficiencies and process improvements. If you want to improve the organization, you got to improve your workflows and your processes. The best way to do that is with engaging employees so that they are engaged, involved, and they want to change the processes and they work with you. The reason I busted the budget up into 31 budgets, instead of just having one that only the CEO and the CFO looked at, is we want to meet the financial perspective. Quite honestly, we were doing very, very well up through 2021 when the power supply crisis happened in the summer of 21. Ever since then, the power supply crisis has been skyrocketing, and it's happening nationwide. Logan's going to talk about that a little bit more. But our strategic goals were determined by the board and the staff. Improve member customer satisfaction, build financial strength, provide reliable service, build strategic partnerships, and then the culture of excellence. And so everything we do is driven by the strategic plan. It's determined by the board. We update it about every 3 years. Well, we actually update it every year, but the main piece of it doesn't change too much within a 2, 3, 4 year window. We've got our mission statement up there, and we also have our vision statement. The mission statement is basically the purpose of the organization, why we exist. We are a nonprofit organization. I report to a 7-member board. That board gives me direction, and in that board meeting, that's where we get into as much detail as they want to give. Those board members represent you. Every co-op I've been engaged in since 1991, the co-op board works with the management team to manage the co-op. The members are informed, we tell them what's going on, but quite honestly, I've never been at a co-op where I've given a member a line item budget and all the costs and stuff. You know, we can go where we need to go. I will tell you there's not, I do not manage a co-op the way this co-op was managed in the past. So, I don't respect the way it was managed in the past. In fact, it makes me sick. And quite frankly, it makes me sick to have so many people upset. I will sit down and talk with anybody. I will share with you whatever we need to share. Quite honestly, I really don't want to go through every line item in the budget with you. I think most of you don't want me to do that. I will do that with my board if they ask me. Back in February, we did that with the board because I wanted to build trust with the board so that they would know that we're not hiding money somewhere. There is no pool of money that we're hiding. It's not there. And so everything we do is on this strategy map. And so what I've got, my manager of member and managed service, he's going to talk about improving member customer satisfaction, building financial strength. I'm going to talk about that. Provide reliable service and power supply. Logan's going to talk about that. And then I'm going to close out by talking about the culture of excellence. And then that's basically the staff presentation. Okay? So we'll go through that. I hope you will hear some things maybe you don't know. I hope you will understand what's happening in the power supply market and what's driving rate increases and why we're doing what we're doing. And at the end, you can see the agenda we've got. We really would love to go through the agenda in the order that it's written. And you can see we're down here to the presentation of reports off officers, directors, and staff. Once we finish that, we go to unfinished business, new business. Typically, there's not any unfinished or new business. Member comment, we'll go there. And that's a 3-minute comment. We'll then adjourn, followed by door prizes. After that, anybody that wants to stay here and do Q&A, I will be happy here. I will be happy to stay here till 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. I'll stay how long as you all want to stay. You that want to go home after the meeting's adjourned, please feel free to go home. But if you don't, but if you want to sit here and ask questions and do Q&A, I'll sit here and do it forever after we go through the agenda.
I wish people would get on the mic.
It's not typical business. We have competitive businesses. I don't want all of our competitive prices in broadband and solar out there. Both of those are tremendous. That's why we gave the consolidated and not the breakout. All of our broadband companies would probably love to see all of our financials. All of the solar competitors would love to see our solar prices.
You may not probably better honestly, but that was the wrong thing to say to people who have struggles. So I just wanted to figure that out.
Well,
That
I agree.
was bad.
Yeah, I agree.
So I just wanted to ask that question. So I understand now why you want to share that confidentially, you don't want to publish it, but nevertheless, people do want to see it.
Okay. Thank you. Matt?
Get to a point where I see I move my head a lot, so I'm going to use a handheld mic. So